What's going on, everybody? Beastly Gamer here. Welcome to the channel. I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy. Square Enix is one of the, I guess, pillar video game developers in my mind. Ever since I was a kid, their games have always stood out. Kind of the same way Bethesda does and Rockstar. Square Enix, to me, is one of those magical companies that creates amazing games. And Final Fantasy VII, of course, is one of my favorite games of all time. And so, something that we've kind of grown to see, I guess, become more and more prevalent as remakes are coming out and people are remastering old games. Very seldom are you getting a better experience than you did with the original. I can't even think of the last time they did a remake of a game that was actually better than the original, barring something like Tomb Raider. The Tomb Raider reboot was head and shoulders better than the original game, and very seldom do we get that. Normally it's kind of a watered down, washed out, hollow, soulless experience when they remaster a game. Now, Final Fantasy VII is one of those games that I'm really scared about, because they've already gone on the record and they said that, hey, this game is not going to be the game that you know, it's not going to be the game that you remember in 100% form. We're going to change some things, some aspects of the story are going to be different, some characters might do slightly different things, and that makes me a little worried, right? And I guess that's the normal experience you're supposed to have. You're supposed to feel a little apprehensive about it, but my question is it possible that Final Fantasy VII is going to be better as a remake than it was as the original? Now, before you start throwing darts at your computer screen, the reason I'm saying that is Final Fantasy VII came out close to 20 years ago. And as great as the game was back then, by today's standards, it wouldn't be considered that great at all. So the things that could have been changed in the game, they've had a lot of time to actually look back and reflect on. And it's possible with them making this game into 3 parts that some of the aspects of the game, the story, might actually fit and make more sense now. And so I found this article. I'll drop a link in the description and you guys let me know what you think. Final Fantasy VII Remake trademarked in Europe. It seems like Square Enix, creator of the iconic Final Fantasy series of role-playing games, has decided on the final title of the highly anticipated PS4 remake of Final Fantasy VII. According to Attack the Fanboy, the game developer has just trademarked the title Final Fantasy VII Remake in Europe on Thursday, practically stating the final title of the upcoming game. For all intents and purposes, the title is perfect. After all, Square Enix is dealing with the most iconic series to date. Final Fantasy VII, after all, has achieved a certain level of fame that far surpasses the gaming world, with even non-players being able to recognize the game's characters at first glance. The report further stated that the title, Final Fantasy VII Remake, was trademarked on the Office of Harmonization in the Internal Market, which acts as a platform for IP holders that trademark terms in the region. The trademark for the title was filed under classes 9, 16, and 41, which corresponds to software, game strategy guidebooks, and online networks, respectively. With regards to the Class 41 trademark, it seems to suggest that the highly anticipated title would have online compatibility. Fans of the original PS1 release would probably feel very nostalgic as well, as iDigital Times has announced that the game is set to be distributed amongst a number of discs, just like the original. With regards to the vastness of Final Fantasy VII's universe, splitting the game into multiple parts does make a lot of sense. After all, the original PS1 release came in a 3-disc set, with Disc 1 dealing with the plot's exposition until Ares' iconic death, Disc 2 dealing with the crater, and Disc 3 starting very late into the game. By splitting the PS4 remake into parts, Square Enix would be able to tell a far more cohesive and expansive story than the PS1 classic. Considering the quality of the preview footage that fans of the game have been treated to, it's not hard to imagine that Square Enix is really putting all their cards into making Final Fantasy VII Remake into the series' greatest title yet. What's interesting, however, is the game developer's statement that the PS4 remake would not be 100% faithful to the PS1 classic, according to Uber Gizmo. Though a good number of faithful fans have become apprehensive to the news, the fact that Square Enix had decades to smooth out the RPG storyline is a very strong point. And they have a video here with Final Fantasy VII Remake and the PS1 kind of a comparison. It's really, really true. They've had, 2 decades to really smooth out the areas of the story that probably could have been done better. Whether or not they do remains to be seen. It's one of those things where you want to feel really optimistic because you know that this game is one that needs to be handled with care and respect. You don't want them to change, iconic characters and make them do dumb stuff that they would have never done in the original. But certain aspects of the story could have been done better. And it's very, very possible that they're going to make that happen with this remake. So they've went on and trademarked the game, which I think probably a little late now. I think we've all known about it for a long time. And with it being trademarked, it's possible that we can get the very first disc of the game sooner than we expect. I mean, I'm not saying 2016 because they already said 2016 is out. I would like to see the first disc in 2016. I mean, the portion of the game they showed us previously did look really good. It looked polished. It looked like it could be a finished portion of the very first disc. And it's kind of like Telltale games. When Telltale makes a game, you get the first part when the first part's done. It might take them 6 months to finish the entire game, or even a year. But you get the first one when it comes out, and then they work on the second, and then work on the third. And I would love it if Square was able to do that. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. Is it possible that Final Fantasy VII Remake, as they've been trademarked, is going to be better than the original? Yay or nay? I know I'm going to get a lot of no's. Just let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to give a thumbs up, show support for the Beastly Gamer channel, and definitely subscribe. I'm the Beastly Gamer, and I'll see you guys next time.
Let it go.